Now then, Tigers, how are we doing? I hope we're all doing well. It is not long until the Championship playoff final, and while at the time of recording we're still waiting to hear the decision and result from Southampton's appeal, it seems that Hull City will still be playing Middlesbrough this Saturday to decide who will be gaining promotion to the Premier League. Now, I'm not going to talk too much on the Spygate stuff, as it has literally been the main headline in football other than Arsenal winning the Premier League. Of course, Middlesbrough fans are doing as much as they can, not only to get tickets for the final, but also trying to find ways to travel to Wembley since, well, it's not going to be cheap since we're not far away, as at the time of recording, it's only 3 days away until the Championship playoff final. So, yeah, Boro fans, I do feel for you, but at the same time, I do kind of feel a bit sorry for Saints fans, considering that they literally spent money on travel accommodation and, of course, tickets to watch their team in the Championship playoff final. It's just a shame that your side are cheats. Now, before I get into the preview of the Championship playoff final, Adrian Ilachilli has said that Hull City, if, let's say, I guess the final doesn't go their way, they could challenge for some sort of case to say that they deserve automatic promotion, and the lawyers could literally find a way to make that happen due to the fact of the mess that has been involved in the build-up, of course, to this final. The fact how Hull have literally had to transition to training for Middlesbrough on such short notice and preparation, as they were obviously scheduled to face Southampton and preparing to face them. Whether that's likely to happen, I don't know, but considering the fact that Boro managed to reinstate themselves in the Championship playoff final, truly means that anything could literally happen. But I'm not going to talk much on that, because really I think that's all going to be kind of organised and sorted out after the final is played, depending on who wins, of course. And so it is the final between Hull City and Middlesbrough. Now, it's funny really with this game, because we can say that it could go one way or the other. We could say that Middlesbrough have the advantage due to the fact that they were bound to prepare for Hull, since they were the only organic team on that side to have gone through to Wembley. And so as for Hull City, they've had to prepare for two different teams, which is kind of a disadvantage for them, but at least they've had more time to train, of course, which is at least something good. It's just whether or not it's going to hugely affect how we play come Saturday, but we will wait and see. Now, the two times we played Middlesbrough, we've lost 4-1 at the MKM and won 1-0 at the Riverside. So it's been rather awkward, to say the least, with how you can predict this game. Because when we did play Boro, it was just awful. Awful in the first half. In that first 45 minutes, we were absolutely terrible. 4-0 down. And in the second half, we managed to gain a goal back through a penalty from Joe Gelhardt. It really was one of the worst Hull City performances I think we have seen this season. And then in the second game, obviously, we took the lead in the first half, and it was all just about being as good as we could defensively, which we were. Boro just had plenty of shots, couldn't take their opportunities, and I think it was just really a good defensive performance from Hull. We were very solid, never really gave Boro a proper goal-scoring opportunity, I'd say, in that game, but it's one of them really where, were we lucky? I don't think so. I think it was just the players did very well defensively and just were able to keep out Boro for the rest of that match after we had scored through Darko Giarbi, of course, who has not played in such a long time, and I don't think he's going to be involved in this final against Boro to give some sort of deja vu. Which brings me to what I think the lineup is going to be and who will start. I do think we're going to have the same setup as we did against Millwall in the second leg of the playoff semi-finals. It'll be like a 5-2-3 or a 3-4-2-1, one of them two. It's pretty much similar. The last time we played Boro, it was a 3-5-2, which is kind of strange, really, because I don't think we'd ever want to play that formation ever again, and we shouldn't really in this game. We want to obviously rely on wingers as much as, well, forwards or strikers. So with that being said, in goal, no surprise, it's going to be Ivo Pando. Did very well, I'd say, in both legs against Millwall. He's done rather well recently. I think while his distribution wasn't great in the first leg, the second leg, loads better. Loads better. It's going to be really hard to tell if we're going to keep a clean sheet against Boro, since they've been a team that can either clearly score goals or just are not clinical enough. And judging by how they played against Southampton in that second leg, you know, they deserved at least a goal, but you could have said that for the first leg. They had 17 shots in that first half. In the first leg, couldn't score one. They came close on a few occasions, but just couldn't break the deadlock. And so I'm just hoping Pando's going to stay solid in goal, going to be his usual good shot stopping, and just fingers crossed his distribution will be good in this match as well. Going to start with the centre halves, basically the back three. So the first one, I think, is going to be Semi Ajayi. I think he did well against Millwall. He was very solid. One of those key players to really keep out Josh Coburn, since that's what we struggled with at 4 at the back in the first leg. I think really it's one of them where maybe he didn't perform as well as John Egan and Charlie Hughes, but he's a good extra man to have at the back. And while maybe he's not always good on the ball, he's good with long balls. I'll say that. He's good with long passes going forward. It's just one of them where I hope he's going to be confident on the ball when he's on that pitch at Wembley. Second centre-half, who will probably be in the middle, will be John Egan. He is going to be a vital player to have in this game with his experience, of course, and just the numerous good performances he's had throughout this season. Defensively, he was a tank. He was an absolute unit in that second leg against Millwall, so I'm hoping he's going to do the exact same thing as he has done before. Just, again, making the tackles, making the clearances, winning headers, and, yeah, I guess similar to Semi Ajayi, just being confident on the ball, because I think he was, to be fair, in that second leg against Millwall. I'm just hoping there's going to be a few passes where, from that game, it's going to be a bit of an improvement, since there was a few poor passes, to say the least, where they were trying to go to players but end up going out for a throwing. And my final centre-back, it's got to be Charlie Hughes, hasn't it? This is such a big game for Hughesy, because I have that worry that if he has a good game and Hull do get promoted, there's that possibility and chance where he could end up having a move elsewhere, and it could still be the same if we stay in the Championship. He's just such a cracking player. Yes, he's good defensively, but you just don't understand. On the ball, he's something else. He'll be confident going forward, dribbling with the ball, going past about 2 or 3 men before thinking, okay, I'll pass it now. And he's happy to continue going forward. He did have 2 great chances in that first half in the second leg against Millwall. 2 headers. One of them was on target. Patterson just managed to keep out. And then the second one, just going off target. And I think if Crooks had managed to flick it on and not miss the ball, it might have gone in. Who knows? But yeah, Hughesy, going to be a crucial player in this match. And I just hope he can just have a good performance, like he's done in the games against Norwich and, of course, in the games against Millwall. At right wing back, I do think it's going to be Louis Coyle that will start, and rightfully so. I think his performances against Millwall, he didn't do a bad job, to be fair. He's going to be a key player, I feel, in this match, as a leader, as a captain, to make sure he's going to keep on motivating his team, constantly pushing them until the final whistle. Obviously, I do hope he's going to try and bring something forward, but for Coyle, I just hope he's just going to be defensively solid. That's all I'm going to ask for in this final. I think defensively he's shown how much of an issue he can be for attackers. Let's hope it's going to be the same when it comes against Boro. And a left wing back, it's Ryan Giles. It just simply has to be, doesn't it? Now, Giles did get injured at the Riverside when we did play Boro. And I think it was Catherine McCarthy that came on the pitch who put on one hell of a performance. And I think that's something which Boro will be a bit worried about. Giles is going to be a pain down that left-hand side, making overlapping runs, just constantly going forward, looking to put a ball into the box. That's all he's going to want to do. And I know Boro kind of know him because he's obviously played at the club before. He's a former player. Let's just hope that he's not going to be as readable with his link-up with Liam Miller, who can be a player that can either play an overlapping pass to Ryan Giles or cut inside and go alone, and Giles can just take a defender away, which I've just realised now is probably giving away one of my players who is going to start in this final. But it doesn't matter, which now leads me on to the central midfielders. One of them being another former Middlesbrough player, which of course will be Matt Crooks, aka Tree. He simply has to start this game. For some reason, from what I've noticed, it's in the big games where Crooksy just manages to make some sort of impact on a goal. I mean, we look at the final day last year where we managed to stay up. He's the one who scored. We look at the final day against Norwich City. He assisted McBurney's goal to make it 2-1. We look at the second leg of the Millwall game. He set up and assisted Baloomi's goal to make it 1-0 against the Lions. I'm just saying, he could really be crucial in this match, and he will be. Incredible playmaker, incredible passer of the ball. He's always going to be solid in the middle of the park. He's going to do his best to track back. He's going to do his best to get up the pitch and try and create something going forward. I think some people kind of forget that he is defensively solid, and yeah, he's quite a heavy person because, I mean, that's why he gets so many yellow cards. It's really not fair on Tree. But going forward, while he can be slow, he can be there at the right time to get himself a goal or assist. So I'm just really hoping we can see a good performance from him against his former club. And our second central midfielder, there's only one man. It's got to be Super Regan Slater. Again, similar to Tree, he's just so good at going forward as well as being good defensively. He'll track back when he needs to. He was good when it came to actually creating opportunities in that game against Millwall. I think in the start of that second half, he literally almost managed to give McBurney a goal to break the deadlock, which I think one of the Millwall players blocked his shot. But Slater, absolute crucial plays, one of the most underrated players the Championship has seen this season. He's going to support the defence when he can and when he needs to. He's going to make sure to close down players when he can. He's going to make sure to be as physical as possible. When going forward, he's going to make the right passes. He's not going to be afraid to dribble with the ball when he needs to, especially if he's going to run into space. I really do hope Regan Slater not only has a good game, but just enjoys himself at Wembley, because I feel like he's been made to be in this stage, and I'm so glad he's going to get that opportunity. Same for Louis Cole, to be fair. Those two players, you would have never expected to play at Wembley. Yet, now they're in this position, it's just one hell of a cracking opportunity for these players to really reminisce and just experience such a once-in-a-lifetime moment. I'll start with the left winger because it only really makes sense now that I've mentioned him. Liam Miller, of course, our Canadian boy. I think he does have to start this game because, as I said before, his link-up with Ryan Giles, it's brilliant. It's so good to watch. It's kind of really makes it unpredictable for defenders and the opponents to try and figure out what Hull are going to do when they're attacking down that left-hand side. Some people sometimes critique that Liam Miller doesn't always work as hard as he should, especially when it comes to tracking back. But I disagree. I do think he can be a workhorse. He will track back when he needs to. And I think in this game, he will be. The players will be pushing each other to the max to make sure they're helping each other out, supporting each other, and putting in the best shift possible in the biggest game of the season. With Miller going on the attack, obviously in the game against Millwall, he just didn't quite show any real output, and I hope he can in this game, even if it means just getting some shots off, being close to goal or on target, or assisting an opportunity with a cross or a layoff, for instance. I'm just hoping we're going to see that from Liam Miller. I reckon we could see him have a good game at Wembley. I can just see it, the Canadian star getting ready for the World Cup by playing an absolute blinder at Wembley. I really hope the best for him, and I think he deserves it after his ACL injury that he suffered last season. One hell of a comeback story he's made, and let's hope it ends this season very well for him with a win. Speaking of ACL injuries, on the right wing, it's going to be none other than Mohamed Baloomi, who, well, not just that injury from last season, but numerous injuries had this season to come back from. He's done a cracking job. And that game against Millwall, what a game. What a performance from Mohamed Baloomi. I really do hope he's going to have the same impact coming to Wembley, and I reckon he possibly will. He is a nightmare on the ball. He's going to be dribbling, causing all sorts of chaos. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember. I think he did come on the pitch against Boro in that first game where we did lose 4-1, and he wasn't able to show enough, but he did look like he was posing a real threat for the Middlesbrough defence, and I don't think he would have been there for the second game against them at the Riverside due to the fact that he was injured. So it's crucial to have him in this game, just fingers crossed, touch wood, he doesn't get injured and just plays an absolute blinder, because I reckon he will. There is that argument that we should be starting Joe Gelhardt in this game. I do agree with that, but I do think at the same time, you know, it's just Gelhardt compared to Bloomy just got more of that impact when he's on the ball dribbling, and he just seems to be the better player on that right-hand side from recent time, I guess. Putting Gelhardt on the left-hand side, I wouldn't mind it. I know that's where he kind of got his goal against Millwall, but that's obviously when he came on as a sub. But starting the game on the left-hand side for Joffrey, I just don't think will work. I think he will be brilliant as an impact sub as soon as he comes on that pitch, looking to try and give Hull something in that second half. And finally, up front, there's only one man. There's only one man, and that's none other than Ollie McBurney, who was robbed off a place in the Scotland World Cup squad. How he didn't get in, I don't know. He scored the most league goals this season out of any Scottish striker. Make it make sense. Despite missing out on the World Cup, which I think is absolutely terrible from Steve Clarke, it's going to be good that he's going to be playing in the playoff final, and he deserves it because he's been one hell of a player for Hull City this season. A crucial man for the Tigers. Of course, he was the main hero in the last game of the season, scoring a brace against Norwich City, and while, of course, he didn't score in the games against Millwall in the playoff semi-finals, he did try and make an impact. More in the second leg, to be fair, since he was creating opportunities. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how McBurney will do at Wembley in this playoff final. I think he could really cause chaos for Boro. I mean, maybe Ayling will deal with him well and Dale Fry, but I just have belief. I just have belief in Superman. I think he could do something in this game and put his name in the headliner for this match. So there you go. There is my starting lineup for the Championship Player Final against Middlesbrough. I've got Ivo Pando in goal. The three centre-halves will be Semi Ajayi, John Egan and Charlie Hughes. The right wing-back will be Louis Coyle. The left wing-back will be Ryan Giles. The two central midfielders will be Matt Crooks and Regan Slater. On the left wing, it will be Liam Miller. On the right wing, it's Mo Balumi. And up front is Ollie McBurney. That squad in itself, absolutely brilliant. And of course, you can't forget the substitutions. We'll have plenty of quality players ready to come on when they need to make one hell of a difference. So let's just hope we can bring a good squad and perform well. Which leads me on now to the score prediction. I hate doing score predictions for big games. I really do. I absolutely hate it. But I must do it as it's part of, I guess, the style of this video. With all the mess of the build-up that's gone on towards this game, it's really hard to tell what's going to happen, to be honest. You don't know if Middlesbrough or Hull are going to be heavily affected by the Spygate scandal, which they probably have. Does that mean the quality of the football is not going to be great? Possibly, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I can only really imagine it's going to be a close game, and judging by most playoff finals, the team that wins usually wins by one goal. And it's one of them where, I mean, Middlesbrough, they haven't been in a playoff final since 11 years, I believe, when they got when they lost to Norwich City. We haven't been in the playoff final since 10 years ago when we beat Sheffield Wednesday 1-0, courtesy of that Mo Diame screamer. I know that Hayden Hackney could be back for this game, which is slightly worrying because obviously he's been the best player in the Championship this season. Of course, Boro's best player. It's just a question of, will he be the same coming back from, I guess, such a long injury, as Boro have been missing him for quite a while. I do believe in our players. I do believe in our squad. I think we can combat against Boro. It just really depends on how many chances we're going to have with, of course, the formation we're starting with. I was kind of dabbling thinking that, maybe it'll be like a 2-1 to either Boro or Hull. But I have kind of changed my mind. I'm going to say it's going to be 1-0. And I'm going to say it's going to be 1-0 to Hull City. The last two Championship playoff finals we've been in, we've won 1-0. Why not just carry on the theme? I have to say I was more confident of facing Southampton than Middlesbrough due to the fact of all the Spygate scandal being in the Saints' heads and having all this difficulty knowing that they've got here very controversially. I just think for Boro, it's one of them where, alright, maybe they're still going to be seen as controversial winners because they obviously lost the playoff semi-finals, but at least they've not kind of cheated their way to get there, basically, and that will be the fact that, well, justice has been served, we can relax and just play at Wembley and hope we can get the victory. But I think for Hull City, if we can just put in that good performance, stay solid at the back, create chances, try and be clinical, I don't see how we can't win this game. It's going to be a tough task. We know it's going to be a tough task. For both teams, it's a difficult game. But I am going to say it'll be 1-0 to Hull City. And I'm not entirely confident by that prediction. I'm not as convinced as I maybe was for the Norwich game, where I did have that proper sense of belief. It's just been one hell of a season. And you know, win or lose in this playoff final, I have been absolutely proud of this team, of these players, of the coaching staff, of this club. They have done absolutely phenomenal this season. They have truly defied the odds and expectations that everyone sort of blasted on them, thinking they'd go down to League One. Yet here they are, so close to the Premier League. For any of you that are wondering, I am going to the game. It's been quite a panic with the flipping train tickets because I kind of left it quite late because I was convinced that there might be a delay to this Championship playoff final in terms of moving on like a couple of days or a week. But I managed to sort out some train tickets. It costed a bloody fortune, that's for sure. But I'm going there and yeah, I can't wait. I haven't actually been to Wembley in 12 years when I watched my local team York City win the FA Trophy final against Newport County. I was sadly not there for Hull City's playoff final win against Sheffield Wednesday due to the fact that I was involved in a footy tournament with my Sunday League team. What a shame to miss out on. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know, Boro and Hull fans, who's going to the game. Give me your score predictions as well. Do you think your team is going to win? Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the socials, which will be in the link in the description, as well as my podcast, which will be in the link in the description as well. Go check out the socials for them as well. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and on the Tigers!